I welcome you to the Top 10 channel. Subscribe to the channel, put a like, and we start the next top. 10 extraordinary dogs that saved lives. Since we've been able to train dogs to perform various duties, humans have created a special affinity with them. Throughout history, hunting, guarding, and herding have been some of the most prominent uses for dogs. Today, we employ them to apprehend fleeing criminals, locate concealed substances, and serve as our faithful companions. The following anecdotes demonstrate how loyal dogs can be, from sticking by your side in the most trying of circumstances to risking their life to protect you from a wild animal attack. Dogs, it turns out, would never hesitate to save their owners or even complete strangers in life-threatening situations. Asthma attack. After some rapid moves, a 9-year-old Jack Russell named Jess in Cleckheaton, England, was able to save her owner's life. One day, Jess's owner, Rebecca Brooks, began to have a serious asthma attack. Jess recognized the danger in the midst of her excessive coughing and gasping for air and quickly retrieved Rebecca's inhaler from her room. Rebecca wanted to test if it was just a coincidence that her dog came to her rescue after she recovered from her asthma episode. She moved her inhaler to another room and coughed a little to see how Jess would react. Jess began exploring for the concealed inhaler, which she discovered and delivered to her owner, much to Rebecca's astonishment. Rebecca informed her father. In an attempt to elicit a response from Jess, he began coughing. Jess, on the other hand, realized he was simply acting and didn't need an inhaler in the first place, demonstrating her intelligence. After saving her owner, Jess proved to be a valuable asset by retrieving Rebecca's car keys, shoes, and even letters. Rattlesnake bite. Paula Godwin of Anthem, Arizona, decided to take her dogs for a walk outside. Todd the golden retriever observed Godwin about to walk on a rattlesnake lurking on the path while taking a pleasant stroll on a hiking route. The little pup jumped in the path just as the rattlesnake was about to strike, absorbing the full force of the strike and incurring a nasty bite on his nose. Todd was brought to a local animal hospital by Godwin for immediate treatment. Todd miraculously survived the rattlesnake bite and recovered completely. Godwin documented the entire event on social media, where the story quickly went viral. Todd's name was added to a crowdfunding campaign in the hopes of raising enough money to assist other pet owners in the area who are at risk of similar injuries due to the number of venomous snakes and reptiles. Home invasion. A woman in Louisville, Kentucky, thanked her rescue dog for assisting her in fending off a break-in. Kelsey Leachman rescued Layla the pit bull in 2016. When she discovered the dog emaciated and infested with lice and fleas. Layla then repaid the favor by rescuing Leachman. Layla and her owner were watching TV in the living room the night of the incident when the dog became agitated. The agitated pit bull barked and growled his way into the kitchen. Leachman got up to investigate, clearly thinking something was wrong. A man she didn't recognize stood in her kitchen. Leachman attempted to flee through her front door, but was pursued by the unknown man, who tackled her to the ground. Leachman was able to wriggle out from under her attacker with the help of her devoted pit terrier, Layla, who was barking and biting at the man's legs the entire time. Layla chased the intruder out of the house, scaring him away. Leachman immediately phoned the cops, who came on the scene with their canine team to search down the perpetrator. Unfortunately, at a nearby high school, the dogs lost the suspect's smell. He is thought to have left in a car. Leachman expressed her eternal gratitude for her pet's heroic efforts, claiming that she could not have defeated the intruder on her own. House fire. In 2017, a Bastrop County, Texas, family adopted Chrome from the Bastrop County Animal Shelter. Chrome's owner, Laura Smith, was sleeping in her home with her 2 sons when Chrome woke her up at 1 o'clock. Chrome remained at her side till she noticed her house was on fire. Chrome then dashed off to find the 2 youngsters. Everyone made it out of the house before the fire devoured it and nearly all of their belongings. Smith believes the fire was caused by faulty electrical wiring in one of her home's walls. Despite this, the house was so badly damaged that the source of the fire could not be ascertained. The fire truck took 11 minutes to arrive since the residence was so far away from the station. The Smith family was given temporary housing by St. Peter's Lutheran Church in Elgin. Meanwhile, the Bastrop County Animal Shelter chipped in with a $1,000 donation to assist them in regaining their footing. Chrome was also given plenty of dog food and goodies, as well as a plaque for his great actions of bravery and love. Trapped under quadbike. A 56-year-old Central Queensland man rolled his quad bike on a remote property near Bondula. He was trapped beneath his bike, unable to seek assistance. The man was trapped for the entire night and developed hypothermia. Everything could have been far worse if his beloved cowdog hadn't kept him warm. When a neighbor out for a horseback ride observed the overturned quad bike, he came to a halt and offered assistance by dialing 911. Garth Snydero of the Capricorn Helicopter Rescue Service stated that the man might not have lived without his dog. The man was airlifted to a nearby hospital, and his dog accompanied him. The canine savior, believed to be a Smithfield cross, appeared to be in excellent spirits and even took a liking to the helicopter pilot. Bear attack. Tiffany Merrill of Black Mountain, North Carolina, let her 2.2 kilogram, 5-pound, toy poodle Pickle out for a morning stroll on August 31, 2018. When an angry and seemingly fearless bear pushed through the entrance, it was barely open for a second. Merrill estimated the bear's weight to be between 68 and 91 kilos, 150 and 200 pounds. Merrill shouted for her children to close their bedroom doors, fearing for her life. Before the bear could pounce on her, she dove behind the couch. Pickle, on the other hand, was able to divert the bear's attention and lead it outside the house. Once outside, the bear and the poodle attacked each other viciously. Merrill ran to her dog's help as the bear withdrew, and she took him to the vet. However, it was too late. Pickle the toy poodle had suffered far too many life-threatening injuries and died in the process of saving his owner's life. Throughout the ordeal, Merrill was just slightly hurt. Her ankle was sprained, and she had a hurting back. The bear has yet to be apprehended. The authorities could only tell Merrill that she could shoot the bear if she felt endangered again. Pneumonia. Jane Laverne, of Ottawa, Canada, suffers from lung disease and relies on an oxygen tank to breathe. She discovered she was having more difficulty breathing correctly than normal one night. To get a better night's sleep, she chose to sleep on the couch in the living room downstairs. When she tried to grab for a glass of water the next morning, she slumped and passed out. Noah, her 11-year-old Yorkie Pomeranian mix, became aware of the situation and dashed upstairs. In an attempt to wake up Laverne's husband, Ken, he barked non-stop at his door. Fortunately, Noah's efforts were rewarded. Ken awoke to find his wife slumped abnormally on the couch, prompting him to dial 911. Jane was taken to the hospital by ambulance, where physicians determined she was suffering from pneumonia. The pneumonia, when combined with her lung illness, led her to pass out. When Jane's husband arrived at the hospital, she was put on life support. Jane was minutes away from succumbing to her condition, according to the ambulance driver. Noah's attentiveness, fortunately, saved her. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Roneen Ando and her husband, Chris, live in Lakeview, New York, and they own a pit bull named Ruby. She's a certified therapy dog for the local SPCA's Paws for Love program. Ruby barked non-stop for about an hour and a half one night. Because she's usually a well-behaved, attentive dog, the owners recognized something was badly wrong. When the pair began hunting for the source of Ruby's barking, they smelled propane in the air. This was most likely due to their basement's newly installed propane heater. The couple was able to escape their house before carbon monoxide poisoning could occur, and it's all thanks to Ruby's keen sense of smell and intuition. Saving hikers. A man in Girdwood, Alaska, lives near the Crow Pass Trail, which runs for 39 kilometers, 24 miles. Nanook the Alaskan Husky belongs to Scott Swift, and he is his proud owner. Nanook enjoys following hikers on their treks and has memorized the entire path. Swift is so accustomed to it that he doesn't even notice when his dog is missing. Amelia Milling, a Rochester Institute of Technology student, was on the Crow Pass Trail for a 3-day solo trip when she lost her footing and fell 183 meters, 600 feet, down an icy mountain. Nanook appeared out of nowhere to help her. He walked alongside her and led her back to the main route. Milling, however, stumbled while attempting to cross a river. Nanook rescued her for the second time and assisted her in paddling to safety. Milling snuck into her sleeping bag to keep her body warmth from dropping. She initially believed she would be able to recover from the unexpected setback. When she realized she was about to pass out, she used her satellite messenger's SOS button. Nanook licked her face to help her stay awake. A helicopter arrived shortly after to transport her to safety. Nanook's owner then inscribed the words, "Crow Pass Guide Dog," on his collar. Swift only understood later that his dog was not only accompanying but also saving the lives of other hikers. Nanook has rescued 3 additional hikers since Milling's incident. At least, they were the ones Swift was aware of. He quickly created a social media profile to connect with other people who had been benefited by his small pet. Several days later, dozens more rescue stories began to emerge. Nanook's most amazing feature is that he wasn't raised to be a rescue dog. In actuality, he was adopted by Swift at a nearby shopping center parking lot's Adopt a Pet event. Car crash. Days before driving through New Waterford, Nova Scotia, Charles Bailey of Cape Breton Island had a concussion. He passed out behind the wheel, crashing his pickup into a telephone pole. The truck flipped numerous times before coming to a halt in the midst of the woods, out of sight of oncoming traffic. Bailey was entirely comatose for 10 hours in his truck. When he awoke, he was in a bed in a Halifax hospital suffering from a brain hemorrhage. Despite the fact that Bailey has no memory of the accident, his mother is convinced that his dog, Dallas, is the reason he is still alive. His exceptional dog stayed at his side the entire time, keeping him warm and preventing serious frostbite damage to parts of his limbs. Someone was able to locate the unconscious man only after Dallas was seen running along the road near the smashed automobile. Bailey also suffered third-degree frostbite to his right foot and a fracture in one of his spinal discs, in addition to the brain hemorrhage. His arm had to be sliced up as well to relieve the high blood pressure. Subscribe to the channel and like it. There are still many interesting stories ahead.